Hey everyone, Lenny Pinna here in Garberville, California. It's early Sunday evening and it's been kind of a moderate day. I'll give you a little view of what the sky looks like, and that's kind of what the day has been like, partly cloudy but sunny. It was definitely warmer in the afternoon, so I waited till it cooled down a little bit. Um, I'm going to not be going around the garden today or showing you around the garden today because mostly what I'm doing is watering and watching and waiting. So I think I'll wait a few more days to give you an update on all of that. So I thought this would be a good day to go around and show you the trees. And by the end of the video, you'll know why I really picked this evening. So I'm going to start off here in the lower portion of the garden, right next to my first bed, and it's the Meyer lemon tree. So as you can see, it's at the back of my flower and vegetable bed, and I'm going to just go around here so you can see the lemons that are ripening. There's one that's getting pretty close to ripe right there. And those of you that know the Meyer lemons, how they just sort of have that little spiciness to them, a little strong but spicy. They're very delicious and good for cooking. They go with a lot of different foods. And then right over here is another lemon tree that Nari said she doesn't really know the variety. And someone told her basically this lemon is good for zesting. And I can kind of verify that because I've taken a few off of the tree and I use it in my tea. But it has a little bit more of a lemon balm quality rather than kind of a bright, tart, citrusy lemon. But I've used it, like I said, in my tea along with other things, so it works out well. I'm going to walk over here to the side of the garden, which I'm not on as much. It was next to the artichoke patch. But there are a couple of trees over here that are apricot. You might remember in one of my early videos, one of the other land dwellers came over and gave me a couple of apricots, and they were slightly underripe, and there was a reason for that, and that is because the birds got most of the apricots early before they even were ripened. And that will be the theme of tonight. So right next here are nectarines, 2 nectarine trees, and I don't see much. Oh, there goes a hawk right by. They don't see much on them at all. I don't think there really is anything. Nari has explained to me that in the last 4 or 5 years, the birds are getting the lion's share of the fruit. She said that there was some logging done in the area maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, and I guess it has sort of disturbed the ecological balance in some way, that the birds seem to be very hungry and they come around and they eat the fruit when it's very young, not even ripe. They could be very small and they just come around and eat everything really quickly. So there is a little bit of disappointment in the trees. I'm excited that we have the trees, but there is some disappointment in what we're going to get out of them. So right behind the iris patch that I was working on is a fig tree. And she said it's not prolific. I do see some on here. Yes, there are little ones right here. I'll show you. Hopefully we're going to get them as a fall crop. They are, they turn brown. They are the brown turkey figs. Oh yeah, good. There are some on this. She said we do usually get figs, although we're going to have a little story later about our other fig tree. So looking forward to these, hopefully in the fall. Something we apparently get a lot of, we're behind Nari's bed here, are apples. This kind of like, but not stunted, but cut down apple tree produces a lot of apples here. And oh, I'm getting in the sun, sorry. And there's apples here, and there are going to be a couple more up there. I'm going to get out of the sun to talk to you. So we have a couple more apples up here on the lower part of the hill, and you can see right there. I asked Nari what the variety is, and it's not really like a variety we would know. Apparently, a local rancher, farmer, somebody in the area cultivated a hybrid years ago, and he named it after his wife. I'm kind of forgetting the name at the moment, but I think it was something like Myrna Hill. So for now tonight, I'm going to call them the Myrna Hill apples, and they're kind of loaded there. I don't know if you can see. Turn the camera around so you can see. So we get a good deal of apples, and as a matter of fact, there are some apples that are stored under my house that are in boxes, cardboard boxes that are from last year, and they're still good, and they can be used mostly for baking. They have a little softness, but we definitely get plenty of apples. So this next set of trees we're coming upon are both Asian pear. And unfortunately, this is going to be the story of the birds. Apparently, very early in the spring, they got most of them when they were very small. And so I think it was a disappointment to Nari because she said they were really good. And I think I just saw one right there. So far, I see one that they didn't get. So, I love Asian pears, and I guess that's a little disappointment that we don't have an abundance of those. So those are two plum trees over there, and I think they've also been a casualty of the bird craze. So I don't think I've seen anything on that at all either. So we have plum trees, but we're not going to have any plums. So I'm going to turn over to this side, and this tree and the one behind it are Hachiya persimmons. Those are those persimmons that get large and a little squishy, almost like a tomato. That's what they sort of make persimmon bread and pudding and things like that out of. This one I noticed does. I don't know if they come in pairs and like mates. This one doesn't have much on it. However, this one you can see. Let me see if I can get close here. You can see that the persimmons are coming. They're here. So. And I think that these get left alone. I think that the persimmons are something we're going to have, which are great. I never knew about persimmons until I got to California 20 some years ago. And I'm going to move over to the other side again because there's also a persimmon tree, but this is one that's called fuyu persimmon. And these are the ones that are smaller. Oh, there's some here. Good. These are, they end up being smaller and a slightly more crunchy rather than squishy soft, more like an apple would be. And they're delicious, and I love them on salads. So we're going to move, let's see, up here. So we have a couple of blueberry bushes, I know, on the other side, and there's some here. They're not really prolific, and if they do, I think the birds sometimes get them as well. So we're going to move over here on this side and past the roses. I'm not sure. I feel like she said this was a peach tree. There's not any evidence of anything, so I'm not sure. But I have to go back and look at the plan to see if that's really what it is. Then we've got a couple more blueberry bushes, and then we have a cherry tree right here, and it's blinding with the sun. It's the story of the birds. They got them this year early. There's nothing on this tree. Now, I've saved this one really for last, and it's the fig tree, and it's called the Kota fig tree. These are those bright green bright green skinned, let's see if we can see them here. Here's one right there that they're starting to become really green in there. Let's see if I can kind of get in there. There we go. And they, of course, they have the reddish flesh, but they have this bright green. Now, the story of this tree is, she said that this has been producing really well. One time, a bear actually got in over the, tore down the fence a bit or whatever and got them. And she was worried because she said bears remember where they are. So she said for the last few years, she's been getting great figs. So she pulled me up the other day and said, look, here's one you can eat. It was ripe and it was delicious. Then, a couple days ago, yeah, there we go. These are going to start to be good. She told me about that she thought that the birds and were starting to find them. So last night I heard all this squawking, and I'm hearing sounds all the time, not knowing what I'm hearing. And all of a sudden I got a text from Nari, and she said, "Oh, I forgot to tell you. I'm reminded by the squawking out there that this morning, which was yesterday morning," she says, "I saw 5 ravens in the fig tree." And she said, that's not good news because they remember also, she goes, in perpetuity, they'll come every year. And I had seen some broken figs on, slightly gnawed figs on the ground a couple of days earlier. So she said, I think the ravens are there. And that's what I was hearing last night. So I texted back and I said, oh, that's what I'm hearing. I said, I imagine what they're saying. And I thought of Edgar Allan Poe. And I texted, "You know those figs that you adore," quoth the raven, "nevermore, nevermore." Thought I'd make light of it. But here, I thought I was expecting to see that there weren't going to be any today, but there still are there, and I'm hoping we still get some out of it. But we definitely have been challenged by the birds in the orchard around here. So we'll see what we end up with. But I wanted to give you, that's why I wanted to do it tonight, just in case in the next few days that there aren't an abundance of figs to look at. So I thought I'd do it tonight. Well, thank you so much for joining me, everyone, as always. And I'll see you next time.